The election is rapidly approaching and we have no time to waste, so let's jump right in. The broad theme of this video is going to be that when somebody like Donald Trump tells you who they are, you better believe them. A prime example is this plan that Trump has been floating for a while now to deport 21 million immigrants en masse. And despite this being not possible, despite this being inhumane, and despite his supporters even saying we shouldn't take him literally, it's just a tongue-in-cheek plan, Trump is now laying the groundwork to do exactly that. This article is titled, "Trump is considering halting federal grants to police that decline to participate in mass deportations. This would place pressure on local police forces to take part in his mass deportation plan to round up immigrants, put them in buses, send them to a camp, and then subsequently kick them out of our country." Again, when somebody tells you who they are and what they want to do, you better believe them. We'll break down this article later, but it does say, sources close to the Trump campaign said the tactic would survive legal challenges and then pressure law enforcement agencies, even in blue states, to take part in these mass deportations. Even beyond that, even before we break down this story, I really want to cover how just today, the Supreme Court is upholding the ability for Virginia to purge its voter registrations and purge, quote, illegal voters, which is a very weird, arbitrary category, and the Justice Department said just recently that Virginia is illegally striking voters off voter rolls. This is another threat to our democracy. When somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Donald Trump and the Republicans beneath him have time and time again tried to disenfranchise voters, not only through lies, but through gerrymandering, through actual laws, through voter purging, and now they are doing it 6 days before the election with no time to even challenge it or push back. We'll break that down, but before we break any of that down, I want to talk about something that's pissing me off a little bit personally. Like I said, we have a lot to break down in this video, so drop a like and drop some blue hearts. Make sure you stick around to the end. And the first story I want to talk about is President Biden calling Trump supporters trash. Now, this pisses me off, not because President Biden said it. I want to defend his remark and defend his ability to say that remark, but it pisses me off because Republicans are now clutching their pearls after Donald Trump has used the most apocalyptic rhetoric possible for years and years and years. I'll play the clip in a second, but just in the past month, Donald Trump has said that Democrats are the enemy of the people. He's implied the military should be sicked on them. He has said that Democrats are going to destroy our country. He's had speakers saying that Hillary Clinton is a devil, speakers saying Hillary Clinton is a bitch, and Puerto Rico is trash. Donald Trump has called America a garbage can, a dumping ground, and Biden says one remark, and now J.D. Vance is acting like it's 9/11. Let me play this clip.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Now, Biden wasn't saying that every single person who votes Trump is garbage. He wasn't saying that 80 million Americans are garbage. What Biden was saying is that the people who were present at that Madison Square Garden rally, cheering on all of those comedians using incredibly divisive and incendiary rhetoric, those people are garbage. And listen, I talked to a lot of them before the rally. A lot of them were nice people, but they would say to my face that they want to move this country forward and they want to unite. And then an hour later, they're cheering for somebody saying that all Democrats are degenerate, low-life scums who hate Jews. Somebody actually said that on stage. J.D. Vance said in response to this, he is clutching his pearls to the max, and we should not let this double standard exist. He said, a mother mourning her son who died of a fentanyl overdose is not garbage. A truck driver who can't afford rising diesel prices is not garbage. A father who wants to afford grocery prices is not garbage. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden ought to be ashamed of themselves. I think I'm actually going to lose my mind. They are trying to capitalize on this so hard, but number one, I don't think it's going to break through to the average voter. Number two, Trump is the one who has been saying that America is a garbage can, a dumping ground. Trump has been saying that Democrats are the enemies of the people. He is the one who brushes people off every step of the way. It's actually blowing my mind. This tweet went viral from Austin Knoll. It says, Trump supporters, yeah, F immigrants, F gay people, F trans people, they aren't real. Black people are lazy and dangerous. We need Trump to make them all go away and make America great again. Biden, Trump supporters are garbage. And then Trump supporters literally have this reaction, breaking down, crying, pissing, puking all over the place, acting like this country just got hit by a terrorist attack. Genuinely, where was this energy when Donald Trump was telling lies about Hurricane Helene? Oh wait, they believed those lies because they are in an alternate reality. I mean, for example, look at this dude, Johnny McKenty, who worked within the Trump administration during the first time. He helped write Project 2025, and he's going to work for the Trump administration a second term. Listen to what what he says about women.
So I guess they misunderstood. When we said we wanted male-only voting, we meant male, M-A-L-E.
Absolutely hilarious, putting election denial and misogyny into one joke. This guy has a great future ahead of him. This guy was Trump's director of White House personnel, as my friend Micah Irfan points out. Absolutely terrifying stuff. Almost as terrifying as Donald Trump's Truth Social feed today. I told you guys, there's a lot to break down. He said, all over the past few hours, he said first, well, I am running on a campaign of positive solutions to save America. Kamala Harris is running a campaign of hate. First of all, the projection here is crazy because Kamala Harris is the one who's been running a campaign based off joy, and Trump has been trying to make fun of her for that. And Trump is the one that's been saying America is a failing third world nation, a disgraced nation. He's the one that's running a campaign on hate. Trump continues, she has spent all week comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. Now, on top of everything, Joe Biden calls our supporters garbage. You can't lead America if you don't love the American people. Donald Trump is the one saying that, the one who gained the trust of the American people just to intentionally rug pull them. He's sending out a bunch of endorsements, but the scary one was this one. Pennsylvania is cheating and getting caught at large scale levels rarely seen before. Report cheating to authorities. Law enforcement must act now. That is a scary line right here. Law enforcement must act now. Again, when somebody tells you who they are, you better believe them, because now all of the courts that support Donald Trump in states like Virginia just set the precedent that you can purge voter rolls with 6 days to go. I want to connect these two stories right here, but first I want to read this Truth Social post, this Twitter post from Trump today. Wow, York County, Pennsylvania received thousands of potentially fraudulent voter registration forms and mail-in ballot applications from a third-party group. This is on top of Lancaster County being caught with 2,600 fake ballots and forms, all written by the same person. Really bad stuff. What's going on in Pennsylvania? Law enforcement must do their job immediately. Wow. And the thing is, Donald Trump right here is trying to lay the groundwork to say the election was stolen. The fact that 2,600 fake ballots got caught, that is actually a good thing. I'm not saying it's good that 2,600 fake ballots were submitted, but them being immediately caught the day they were submitted, that means the system is working exactly how it was intended. That means we have a very, very thorough system that can detect voter signatures being wrong, that can detect fraud immediately. So 2,600 ballots being submitted, that is terrifying. That is terrible, but the person that submitted them was immediately apprehended. This was a Republican county. The votes were immediately thrown out. When it comes to ballot drop boxes being blown up, these voters are immediately given their ballots back. I mean, this shows that we have a quite robust election system where fraud is very, very hard to achieve due to how decentralized it is. It really depends on each county to make sure that everything is going legitimately, and each county has pretty robust systems where Democrats and Republicans use each other as guardrails. But all of that being said, I don't want to say that it's not impossible, because this does connect us to the story where courts are actually acting. So before we get on to the Supreme Court decision today, I do want to lay the groundwork with this article from earlier this month. The Justice Department says Virginia is illegally striking voters off voter rolls. The DOJ filed a lawsuit against Virginia election officials Friday that accuses the state of striking names from voter rolls in violation of federal election law. The lawsuit says that an executive order issued in August by Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin requiring daily updates to voter lists to remove ineligible voters violates federal law. The National Voter Registration Act requires a 90-day quiet period ahead of elections for the maintenance of voter rolls. Now they are doing it with 6 days to go. This new article reads, Supreme Court allows Virginia to resume its purge of voter registrations. And keep in mind, just notice how Trump will conveniently not mention this as some example of voter fraud. The Supreme Court on Wednesday, today, allowed Virginia to resume its purge of voter registrations that the state says is aimed at stopping people who are not U.S. citizens from voting, but U.S. citizens can't vote in the first place. This is a non-problem. And by the way, again, if a non-U.S. citizen were to vote, or if a non-U.S. citizen were to submit 100 votes, it would immediately be caught because we have a robust system to detect this stuff. Even back in 2020, when Donald Trump said that tens of thousands of illegal ballots were cast by dead people in Georgia, They did multiple recounts and risk limiting audits. They found 3 dead people. They found the dead people. That is the word right there. They found the actual votes. Now, this brings us on to the big story. Today, Donald Trump said that he is going to halt federal grants to police that decline to participate in mass deportations. And before we break down this article, I do want to break down this one that says Trump's mass deportation plan would be an economic disaster for the U.S. A loss of migrant workers would trigger productivity losses and a new round of inflationary pricing pressure. But Donald Trump doesn't care. He only cares about getting the brown people out. If elected, Donald Trump plans to carry out the largest deportation operation in American history, as he says every damn day. And after pushback on Joe Biden's border policies, Kamala Harris has embraced border restrictions and the need to maintain limits on asylum seekers. But neither candidate captures the realities of U.S. immigration. And of course, Kamala Harris wants to streamline the process. I mean, nobody wants to see people fighting for their lives to get over here in the most dangerous way possible. America is the land of opportunity, and people should have the opportunity to come here in a safe manner. But Donald Trump and Republicans don't want that. Democrats do. U.S. consumers are accustomed to cheap goods and services, and the economic rationale for large-scale immigration has largely been avoided. In a country that relies on a mobile, low-cost workforce, the loss of migrant workers would trigger productivity losses and the new round of inflationary pricing pressure. Quote, "It would be an economic disaster for America and Americans," says Zeke Hernandez, an economics professor at the Wharton School of University in Pennsylvania. Quote, "It's not just immigrants that would be harmed, but we, the people of America, would be economically harmed as well." And the thing is, many Trump supporters think this is a tongue-in-cheek plan from Donald Trump, but this is serious. Trump is actually going to do this, as Donald Trump promises the largest mass deportation of undocumented immigrants in U.S. history if reelected. His team is considering withholding federal police grants from local law enforcement agencies that could decline to take part in the deportations, 3 sources close to the Trump campaign told NBC News. And the scary part is, the 3 sources close to the Trump campaign claim that the tactic would survive legal challenges and pressure blue states, counties, and cities into participating in mass deportations. Trump has vowed many times that if he returns to office, he will immediately begin rounding up undocumented immigrants across the country. Scary, scary stuff. To help boost the message, drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and peace out.